This week, I'm upcycling a thrifted tablecloth into a cozy quilted vest while chatting about my 2026 goals and intentions. I've got so many things I want to work towards this year, but I know I need a real plan and a few gentle guardrails to help me stay focused and actually follow through. So let's slow down, make something cozy, and figure it out together. Hi, friends. It is the end of December 2025, and like everyone else, I am sitting here in my home cold, uh, and reflecting on this past year. I have made so many things this year, whether it was hand embroidery or sewing. I did my summer sustainable wardrobe, and the last couple of months, I've been really honing in on my quilting skills. But today, I thought it'd be really fun to go back to my roots and do an old fashioned upcycle while I talk 2026 goals and intentions. First off, let's start with all the materials that I'm using for this vest. I thrifted this really cool tablecloth a couple weeks ago, and I've had this blue, sort of heavyweight cotton in my stash for a while. I actually made a pair of pants with them, and this is what's left over. So I am starting with these two pieces of fabric to make the green pepper Santiam reversible vest. This is a pattern I've never made before, so at the end of this video, I'll go over a couple of things that I liked and didn't like about this pattern. I'm making this in a size small, and I opted for the digital pattern and just printed off all of the pieces of paper and taped them together at home. I started off with the blue, and that is going to be the lining for this vest. The pattern actually has it for a reversible vest, but I opted to skip a couple of steps, make this a little bit simpler, and am not having it reversible, just with a lining and the outside. For the outer material, I'm using this thrifted tablecloth. It's pretty thick and I think it's 100% cotton. It feels really nice in my hands and it has a nice drape to it, but I think it'll be really nice when it's all quilted up too because it'll be sturdy and pretty thick. So, these last couple of weeks, as we near the end of 2025, I've been reflecting on all the things I've accomplished and made in 2025. And one of my biggest realizations is that I've been creating without intention. I typically go to thrift stores, see what fabric I find, buy it, and then decide what I'm going to make with it. Which tickles my curiosity and need to create something, but it isn't very intentional and maybe not even entirely sustainable. One of my personal philosophies is to live sustainably, which also means crafting and making art sustainably. This includes sewing, making clothes, quilting, and even my hand embroidery. But sustainability doesn't just start and end with thrifted fabric and floss, it also encompasses the intentionality of everything I make. Some questions I want to ask before creating something are: does it have a purpose? Will I wear it or could someone else wear it? Will I sell it or gift it? And is this material sustainable or secondhand or even given or found? All right. So, in my haste to cut everything out, I accidentally I cut out technically two of the front. What I did was I cut on the fold for the front and I had already cut out the front. If I hadn't cut out the front, it wouldn't have mattered, but I cut out two of the front. I didn't have enough of the tablecloth left to actually make the back, which is supposed to be cut on the center fold here. So what I had to do was I had to piece together the rest of the fabric that I had, and in an attempt to make this somewhat intentional looking, well, first of all, I couldn't get the checks to actually line up because there wasn't enough fabric. If I did line it up, it would have been too short and too narrow at the top. So what I did is that if you can see here, I sewed them together on the back, and then I did a top stitch here, and I'm hoping that with them off centered like this, it will look more like a yoke at the top. Um, but the thing is that this is an upcycle anyway, so it's okay to be a little scrappy. I was just trying not to have to piece together anything today, but sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, and so I am dealing with it. I think it's going to be okay though. I think this will work out just fine. And so I'm gonna get cutting this and get piecing together. Oh, I still have to cut out all of the batting, the insulation. There's one of the back, one of the lining, and then one of, oh wait, so the insulation, yeah, one of the back, two of the front, and then the collar as well. And then I'll have to do the pockets. There's supposed to be 4 pockets of each color, the front and the back. Oh my God, look at that. Can you see him over there? He's like eating string. Bengal Spice. Bengal Spice. This is why I got distracted. He was in here being all cute over here, and I just cut the wrong one. All right. Well, back to cutting. I got a little bit more to do. And then, I'm hoping to actually finish this today. I think I can get it finished today. I want to quilt it too. So we'll see how that turns out. I think that the practice of answering these questions before making something will help me maintain a certain level of sustainability while still exercising my need to create and make things. I suffer from seasonal affective disorder, and creating has become a part of my daily practice and contentment, working towards happiness and the best form of medication I can prescribe myself. It helps me stay sane during these dark, cold winter months in the Pacific Northwest where I'd otherwise slip into a deep, dark depression. In an effort to maintain my mental stability, I'm going to continue creating things while also living true to my sustainability goals. Which leads me to my next practice that I hope will help me in my sustainability endeavors this year, which is making goals. I have 2 main goals that I want to lean into in 2026. One of them is to get really proficient at making quilt tops and quilting, and the second one is to design and sew a capsule wardrobe that I actually want to wear. If you've been watching my channel for the past couple of months, you've seen my fascination with quilts and quilting grow. I've made a couple of baby size quilts, a quilt top from thrifted fabric napkins, and a couple of holiday themed mini quilts. All these quilts had a purpose and served in my pursuit of learning how to quilt. And I definitely want to do more of that this year. I've got a lot of fabric that I've thrifted and started curing it into different collections for potential quilts. And I've got a couple of projects in mind for this year, and I'm really excited to bring you along for the new stage in my sewing journey. I'm decent at sewing, and I'm proud of the progress that I've made over the past couple of years, but I want to become an expert quilter or even a master quilter. I'll go into more detail about why I want to get good at quilting and how I'm going to do it in an upcoming video. Okay, I just realized I messed up. I just opened up my zipper, the one that I pulled out of my stash a little while ago, and realized that this is a regular zipper and I need a separating zipper. So I'm going to go back into my stash, look through my zippers, and see if I have one that will actually work and will match and is a separating zipper, or I might have to use either snaps or wait to finish. Oh, I just want to finish today. So I hope I have something. I am in luck. I have all these buttons, these snaps, from a project a couple years ago. I made sleeping bags for myself and my partner, and I used snaps for the bottom part, the foot box. And so I think I'm going to use these instead of a zipper. I did find a zipper that's a separating zipper, but if you notice, the teeth are really big. It's a little bit bigger and it's not exactly, I didn't want to use a black zipper. I think it stands out too much. So I think I'm going to go with the snaps for this project. And so I get to skip the next couple of steps in the pattern. You may have also noticed from watching my videos that I'm often wearing the same outfit, and that's not really by design or default. I just sort of wear what I want to wear, and when I'm in my studio, I just want to be comfortable and cozy. I tend to lean towards blue sweaters and stretchy, loose fitting pants, and all that's fine, but I want to be more intentional about what I wear and how it makes me feel while I'm wearing it. This year, I want to design and sew a wardrobe that is more intentional and put together. The majority of my days are spent at work, and since I work as a fine gardener, I'm typically wearing Carhartts, boots, loose fitting t shirts, and in the wintertime, I have lots and lots of layers of clothes just to keep warm and stay dry. Not the most glamorous or attractive attire. So, when I'm here with you in the sewing studio, I get to actually wear nicer clothes that are a bit more put together. I just
Think
typically
you're gonna
don't.
want to move.
For whatever reason, Bagel Spice has decided that he really loves my wool pressing mat, and I enjoy his company so much that I don't want to move him. I'll just let him decide to move when he wants to move. But I decided that
There
I
you
should
go.
probably clean off my workspace area here so it'd be a little bit easier to
It's
work
gonna get all
and
loud.
accommodate him better.
You don't like loud. Okay, so I actually had to read the directions a couple times over, and the major part that I realized is because I'm not making my vest reversible, it meant that I could omit. It was really confusing because it had you sewing the pockets. I'm doing the side open seam pockets, and it had you doing the lining pockets first, which is why I was really confused. However, I just skipped a whole bunch of steps, and now I am doing the pockets just for the front because I'm only having one side to this vest. So since I am not doing the zipper pockets, I'm doing the side seam pockets. What I'm going to do is sew along the edge here, cut, reverse this, and then put the quilted side of the quilted one inside. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Wish me luck. Okay, so the side seam pocket has it going all the way down here, but in the directions it has you stopping right here. It's so confusing. See, it has you stopping so that you can cut it. Hmm. Okay, well, I guess I'll do that. With that said, one of my goals is to actually take the time to design my wardrobe and the key pieces of clothing that can be worn with the garments I already have and that will actually be intentionally designed. Many of the clothes I've made before were more or less dictated by the thrifted fabric I found. So for this project, I want to give myself permission to purchase fabric for clothes that I will actually want to wear and feel good in. Because in the end, the most sustainable piece of clothing is actually clothing that you want to wear and love. I'm going to be using Seamworks Design Your Wardrobe workbook, and I want to include you in both the planning and the making process. I've already started designing my wardrobe using the workbook prompts, and so far I've been really enjoying the process. If you're not familiar with Seamwork, it's an online community of sewists with courses, tutorials, and loads of really great patterns. I've been a Seamwork member on and off for the last couple of years, and I've personally enjoyed every Seamwork pattern I've made. This video is not sponsored by Seamwork. It's just a community I personally love being involved in, and I really like spreading the mission of inclusive sewing for all. If you're interested in designing your own wardrobe along with me or becoming a Seamwork member, there is an affiliate link in the description that I earn a very small commission from at no cost to you. I'm planning to make one piece of clothing a month so that by the end of the year, I'll have a completed capsule wardrobe. I hope that in doing this inspires you to look at your own makes this year and to be a little bit more intentional and sustainable along with me.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Before I finish this, I am so close to being finished right now. I'm super excited how everything is coming out. But before I move on to the next bit, I wanted to show you how I actually had to sew together the side pieces. Okay, so here is the vest right here. And this side piece, it was the most interesting construction I've ever done on a pattern before. And this is why I love patterns, because if I don't really like reinventing the wheel, I'm really bad at reinventing the wheel. And I've learned so much from every single pattern. And this is probably like, I don't know, the fifth green pepper pattern that I've used. And I like them because they're really simple, but also they have some really interesting ways of going about construction of it. So with this vest here, um, the side construction, I would have never thought about this. So from the bottom, I haven't closed the seam in the bottom, but from the bottom, I did this one line. So, okay, so here's the edge, here's the pocket right here. And to sew it together, I did one line inside. So here's one side with I sewed it from the inside corner, that corner of the outside. And then here's the other one over here. I would have never have thought about doing this construction like that before. It sort of blew my mind. It took me a minute before I realized what the instructions were actually saying, because I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. But it was one of those moments where you just had to trust the process and continue going forward with it, because it didn't make any sense on paper. But once you actually did it, you're like, oh, so if anyone here is actually trying to do this pattern, I would just say trust the process. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's not going to make sense. Just keep doing it. So the last little bits I have, I need to serge these inside edges, especially because it's these like outer edges underneath the armhole. I want them to be super strong. So once I have those serged, then I have to uh, do the bottom hem. So here's the back side, and I've got to do the bottom hem down here. Okay. Let's try this for the third time. What I didn't show you here is that I actually broke my thread of my serger 3 times, and it was because it was the number 3 thread, and I decided to not completely thread it again, which means the thread kept breaking. And I tried sewing this a couple of times. I ended up rethreading everything, putting in some new needles, cleaning it, and then decided not to serge the edges because they were too thick, and it was a job that was made only for my industrial juki. I finished off the side seams, evened everything out a little bit, and then put in a top stitch at the bottom hem. Once all that was finished, it was time for the reveal. Okay, so key takeaways from this project: always read the directions first, all the way from the beginning to the end. Because what I didn't realize is that the very last step is to do all the top stitching, and that would have saved me a little bit of a headache when I was doing all of this like weird origami, putting together, like when I did the sides. The corner didn't really turn out as good as I wanted to because I had already done the top stitching, and I should have waited till the end to do this top stitching. Second takeaway, this is a small. It's sort of short, like lengthwise. It like only goes to like where my pants are basically. But the shoulders are huge. Like, I don't know if you can tell this. Like, I have a sweater on, a long sleeve shirt, and the shoulders are huge in this. So it's like for someone that has really broad shoulders, not like the weirdest thing in the world. It's sort of like cute when it's like over like something big and bulky, but it would look really funny if I had a lighter layer on underneath. The third takeaway that I would have from this is, actually, that in terms of patterns, that's about it. Yeah, the shoulders are a little too wide for me. Uh, it is a little too short for me, personally. But the big thing is that I don't really like the color red or yellow. I mean, I like the colors, I just don't like to wear them. So I am actually gonna dye this and a couple of other pieces of clothing that I have, and I'm gonna try and make it a little bit more me. Stay tuned for all of the stuff that I'm gonna be making in the next year. I have so many ideas. I'm really excited about everything. And so until next time, my friend, remember, done is better than perfect, even with a couple of mistakes. It is finished. I'm happy with it. I'm still gonna wear it, but I need to dye it first.